Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DomJake Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jacob.
And my name is Dominic.
All right, fantastic. In today's episode, we will be talking exclusively about if we ruled our own kingdoms.
All right. So anyway, what do you mean? Title. What do you mean by that?
So, what I mean by if we ruled our own kingdom is basically exactly that. Well, I mean, magically, we just became kings of our separate little lands. What differences would we have in governing it? How would we maybe rule it similarly? Stuff like that, and possibly even more.
Well, have questions about whatever laws we got, or like the mannerisms, or like the culture. Just you get what I'm saying.
I believe so. And since you said laws, all right, I like that. Let's start with laws. For starters, I guess everyone must worship the sun. That's something that I think everyone should just do anyway. And it would just kind of be silly to start something like, oh, rise with the day, fall at night, right? Everyone does that already, but in my kingdom, it might be a little bit to the extremes. I kind of like that. My second law is every house must be color-coded to show wealth. I just think it's kind of a silly, well, not silly, a neat idea to be like, okay, the red house is the one we gotta rob because those are where the rich people live or something like that. No, the third one, right, is bigotry and hatred will be illegal. So, it's a good thing to just not be rude to people, and
Of course.
Just let people be themselves, right?
Duh. No.
Let's see, number 4 is every household must have a dedicated palace worker. So, like, at least one person. You know how, like, there was the draft back in the day? Well, I guess we still technically have it, but there is one member of every household that has to work as, like, a palace worker. Whether that's a groundsman, whether that's a maid, whether that's whatever it may be. It just kind of be,
Yeah.
Everybody knows that one person in the family is the palace worker, right? Because it kind of cuts down on the fact of, oh, what are you doing for your career? It's like, well, I'm the palace worker. They'll just tell me. Number 5, I have every household must have a military member. So similar to that. So that other one is just so then we can keep the nation protected by someone. Anyway. You must always carry an identification on you at all times.
So just like any kingdom, so you just like an ID, I guess, just whether you're there or not.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to think.
Oh, yeah, it's just kind of like the driver's license and stuff like that, but a little bit more. So it's like, if you do get in trouble, we know who you are. It's not like
not like exactly like a driver ID, but no matter how old you are, I guess
it doesn't matter how old you are. It does not matter that at all. It's not for driving, really. It's just so that everyone knows who you are. If you were a suspicious individual and you didn't have an ID, you would be punished a little bit later, but I'll get into that after.
Okay.
My 7th one, my second to last one, if you want to put it that way,
yes,
is there is to be no food waste ever. So you must clean your plate or have someone else clean your plate, but there is to be no food waste. Because we have that today, Like we have that today, where like you could be buying like a pound of bananas, right? And you might get through half of them, then they start going brown, and you just toss them out. People use those, or
I got a question about the. I guess you have biodegradable plastic and like food can like, you have soda bottles or water bottles. Like, what do they use like some biodegradable plastic or something in there?
I mean, that's kind of like the container waste.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good point that I didn't even consider, to be honest. My thinking is something along the lines of, you just reuse the same cup. It's all like a water fountain sort of thing. Not like a well, but maybe a well. I don't know. It might depend on what household you're in. So you might be living in a red household, being like, oh, you are top of the line. You might have, a Brita water purifiers or something like that. But like, I'm talking about more like pointless
food waste.
Yeah, food waste that you can control. Obviously, like, if you accidentally bought like a bad beef, you accidentally buy bad beef, right?
Like it smells like soil.
You have to throw that away. But like things you could control, where it's like, you're not going to finish off that bag of apples.
Yeah.
Why'd you get that much to begin with?
I get that.
So like, I think one of my events later on will kind of get into that, but I'll leave that to the future.
All right.
The last one that I have is you have to let one in your home if they need to use the bathroom. How many times has that happened to you, where you're just out?
Like, random people just, can I stop by your house to use the bathroom?
Can I just go to the bathroom? Yeah.
I was like, you can't just let strangers in.
You gotta let strangers in there because of the fact that it is my country, and if I'm a king who's like just on a walk and I just need to I need to use the bathroom, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'm gonna be like, okay, knock, knock, knock. King's orders. You gotta let me in.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, depends on who it is, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Well, so to be honest, that's kind of the reason why I have the identification, the mandatory identification too. Like, because you've probably been there, where you're just driving on the highway or in a passenger seat or whatever the case may be, and you just need to use it, but you can't because everywhere's closed, or because you're in a residential area that like nobody's gonna let you in. I don't want that to happen. So everybody gets the chance to go like, okay, knock, knock, knock. If someone's home, they're answering, and if you need the bathroom, you're using the bathroom.
Okay.
That's me anyway. So what do you think? What do you think about them?
Not bad. Let's go back to. I think I forgot we said something about like color or whatever that is. Go back to one of your very first couple laws.
Oh yeah, the color-coded houses.
Oh, so like, I'm just thinking of like the Dr. Seuss movies where they have those like weird houses for some reason.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking about it like an average, like New England neighborhood, where it might be like a cul-de-sac or something like that, or just a regular road, and it's just painted differently. It's not going to be like, a Dr. Seuss, like, or even like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz thing where it's like a weird shape. It's not going to be that. It's just different colors.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Anyways. So now we should talk about my laws.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of, I guess this is like a lot I would hear like in like schools or like any public places, like no drugs or alcohol. Like, you don't want any like weirdos coming in your kingdom. It's like, sounds like a very basic rule, but trust me, we want people that are sober. Like that would bring the crime rate down. And okay, for the second one, like if you're gonna enter the kingdom, you have to pass a 60-minute exam in order to be a citizen.
Ooh, about that though, does that mean you can't just enter it without like wanting to become a citizen? You could just,
I mean, you can visit, like tour around, but if you want to live there, you have to take some kind of test.
Okay, the test is just for living there. Okay.
Yes, so like, yeah.
All right.
The third law is kind of like same thing with kind of similar to the other topic. My first one with the law, like crime rates. Like, yeah, you're like if you're gonna use a firearm, you're only allowed to use it for self-defense. But if you're gonna use it for anything like banks, like shootings and all that, yeah, you're gonna face like a punishment, which we'll probably discuss later after the laws.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, there's no. It's like some of my laws are like very basic. It's like my fourth one is no public disturbances. Yeah, like no like loud noises like at night, like no parties. I guess, or at least don't be too loud. I guess, or like anything that's like just like related to public disturbances.
Who's gonna enforce how loud something's allowed to be though?
Well,
do you think it's gonna be like one of those applause meters where it's like, oh, if it reaches the far right end, it's gonna be like, oh, you're in trouble, neighborhood.
Like if someone's trying to sleep, then yeah, I'm not gonna be listening to that. Okay, yep. And also, yep, the fifth law, like just don't steal or anything. Basically
No
self-explanatory.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is, how valuable it is, even if it's like somebody's possession, yeah. And sixth law, no violence, like bar fights, nothing like that, or like at a baseball game, like yeah, no fighting there.
Oh, you're not gonna allow anyone to do like a mosh pit sort of thing?
Okay, so it's like, okay, if you're doing it for sport, that's fine. But if it's obviously if someone's just, you know what I mean.
I believe so.
Yep. And the seventh law, it's like, okay, like of course you'll have places to eat, and like if you're gonna, after you eat, yes, always leave a tip, like a nice one, because like these people don't get paid a lot at their jobs.
Well, actually, I have a little question that I don't think can wait about that. It is your country, your kingdom. So, what's saying that you're not going to let them get paid well? Like, it has to be a tip situation.
Yep.
Since you are the king of this kingdom, what's stopping you from just being like, okay, no tips, you're getting paid well? What's stopping that?
I guess it depends, like seasonally. It depends.
Oh,
like, you get paid more. I guess you get paid more like during like the holidays.
Okay, I guess that's decent.
Mm-hmm. Or if it's just like any other day, it's like, okay, you don't get paid much. But then again, it's like some holidays the place might be closed. But if it is on a certain holiday or around that season, okay, you'll get a lot of customers. Valentine's Day, for example, you'll get a lot of customers at a place. Yeah, you're definitely gonna get paid a lot more.
Likely.
Yep. Okay. And this is like what I was gonna. Here's what I was kind of talking about before. Okay, so this kind of relates to your, so no wasting of plastic and other waste.
Oh, okay. That must be why you introduced that question whenever I was talking about my no food waste. And hey, that's very honorable. But like, now that I've shared my food waste to you, in regards to food waste, what are your thoughts on that? How's your kingdom gonna handle that?
I guess with food, I mean, at least it's not like plastic where it's just okay. This plastic's it's like but it doesn't. Oh my god, I'm trying to think. Like it doesn't last. Like plastic lasts for years until they break down.
Oh yeah, I guess so. And it doesn't even stop like wildlife from eating like an old banana, right? Like wildlife will probably eat that versus like, you know, just a plastic bottle. Who's gonna eat that?
I was like, no one's gonna eat it. It's probably gonna kill them, if anything, if they try to eat it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I know what both of our laws are, but what about punishment systems for people who break the laws?
Here's a big one. If you're in a, because in a kingdom there's a dungeon, and if you break the laws, you'll, for God knows how long.
For God knows, if anything, you should.
Depending on how bad the crime is, yeah, you're in for a long time.
All right. Do you have like another way of punishment, or is that literally it?
That's really like the only. That's really much.
Okay, so I guess I'll say mine now, which, funnily enough, includes dungeon time.
Ooh.
So we kind of thought on the same spectrum with that, where I'm gonna throw someone in a dungeon, maybe execution, or forced public humiliation, depending on how severe they did. Because like, if someone just stole and got caught, they could probably get like a day or two in dungeon, right? Well, depending on what it is, of course, it depends on the severity. I might even give people the option to choose their punishment, sort of thing, where it's like, okay, do you want to spend 2 weeks in a dungeon, or do you want to march around the public town square in just like your underwear on a cold night or something like that? You know, it gives them their opportunity to choose, while not. I mean, it also does depend. So that's pretty neat how we both kind of thought about the dungeon idea. Yours was only dungeon, but mine was like, you know, giving an option sometimes between that and 2 other possibilities. But yeah, so.
Anyways, well, I mean, of course, there's always. Yeah, I already was. Hold up, let's turn the page here. Yeah, we have like if we talk about the flags now of our kingdom.
Yeah, the flags and like things like maybe the national anthem. Actually, let's start with the name. What is the name of your kingdom? Okay, so my kingdom name is, and I wrote this like 3 weeks ago, so I don't remember how to pronounce it, but it's like Bidanyi Inite. I will say it again. Bidanyi Inite. It's a Bidany space INITE. So Bidanyi Inite. And the reason why I kind of thought of that was just because like, I think I looked up on Google Translate just something, and then I think this is Amharic, but I don't really know. It's been a little while since I named it, but that is the reason why I named it such, is just because I wrote something in the English side and then translated it. So now I got Bidanya Imite, which I could, you know what, I'm gonna look up. I think what that. I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to.
I think like London sounds like a good name for a king, for my kingdom. Even though it sounds very English.
What was that?
I guess I think my kingdom's like called London.
London,
like,
as in
it's like there's like king, like like the in like UK or like that area.
So there's gonna be like 2 Londons in the world or something like that.
You know,
it's the War of the Londons. It's London versus London.
like they're fighting against themselves.
Yeah, the London Bridge is literally falling down, right?
Yes, literally. It's gotten so old, it's crumbling now.
So, actually, since we're kind of on the topic of, flags, anthems, and the naming convention, I'm gonna actually describe my flag. It's going to be like a, it sucks because this is not a visual representation, but it is kind of one of those that the left half of it is kind of like the rectangle, the normal rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
However, it gets cut off like in the right side where it forms little 2 triangles sort of side. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's technically a pentagon shape. And the colors of that are like, it's mainly purple, and in the middle section it is gold with like a dark blue design on it. I have a little doodle, but of course I can't really show the doodle of what I drew. I'm curious about what your flag would look like or be like, or what is it?
All right. Well, mine's has like my first like initial, like the first letter of my name, like in the middle.
All right, a D in the middle.
Yeah, like, and then like on each side, left and right, it's like one's like a swirl and then a star, like on the top, swirl on the top, and then like a star on the bottom. It's like very.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
and what about the colors of those?
Never really colored it in.
You didn't even think of that?
I was like, it's got, I guess like they're like red and blue for like the swirl and the star.
So like every single flag ever, right?
Pretty much. It's like nothing non-original, and like everything nowadays is like either inspired or.
Hey, sometimes inspiration is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And last but not least, the thing I'm curious about, if you have it ready, I would actually like to hear what your anthem is, or what it's about, or the general theme, what the music genre is, how it would be played, performed, sung, whatever. If anything about the anthem, I kind of want to hear it.
Well, it's gonna have like the similar, like kind of like how our national anthem. It's gonna have like a marchy type of beat, and it's just gonna be like pretty much the theme is like being happy and all that. Glad we're all together. What?
I kind of want to hear that.
I thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
like how we're happy that we live in our kingdom. We're happy we live in our country.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
Yeah.
So I'm actually curious though, like do you think after this is recorded, do you think like you might go and like write an anthem or something, or at least the words out? I'm kind of curious about them.
I'm probably not even gonna.
Yeah, you don't have to. I was just curious, that's all. Yeah, good anthem idea.
Yeah, it's inspired kind of like by ours.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to ours, and then possibly every other country, because every other country is probably like, my country is the best. My country is better than yours, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much they're like, yeah.
Our people like to be in this country. Yeah, right? So my anthem, though, is literally just 2 minutes of... this might get a little musical for you, but it's literally 2 minutes straight of a C1 note and a C sharp 1 note.
Okay.
And that basically very much clashes. If you want to call it D flat, you could also call it D flat, but so it is a suspension for 2 minutes straight. It doesn't matter if it's being sung or played or whatever, but it has to be literally C natural or C sharp at the same time for 2 minutes straight. It has no lyrics at all. It is just the notes being like, bah, you know? So, yeah, I'm kind of sorry I put you on the spot with the anthem whenever mine was literally just bah.
Bah.
It is very low bahs. But yeah.
Anyways.
Nice.
That out of the way. Since we now have talked about the basics of our kingdoms, why don't we talk about like the culture of them and like the cuisines and like that everyone eats. So like what food does everybody like in our kingdom eat, and how exactly are their mannerisms like? Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't know. Like I hear that like in Korea though, like they slurp their food. And to them, it's like a compliment. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard what you were talking about, but I think it's the opposite there. Rather, in places like China and Japan, slurping is respectable, but Korea, on the other hand, isn't. However, I'm not from either one of those three countries, so I don't really know, but I don't think that's the case. We could do some Googling later and find out. But regardless, though, I understand what you're getting at. And how about we describe some various cultural events that were held in our kingdoms? I'll let you take the lead here.
Yep, when they say hello, they shake hands, like typically. Or they say hello, they say it normally. Oh God.
Yeah, how do you think they shake their hands? Is it different than our normal?
Kind of like. I mean, I guess like a normal handshake with but instead of like just the hand, like they do their whole arms.
Oh, it's like the slappy fish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
So that's just like the greeting. Do you have like anything else?
Honestly, I don't really have that much. It's like
no worries. So my culture events then, since it seems like you're all set with that, is the week of the sun, where everyone wears yellows and oranges and just worships the sun. You realize how back 3 topics ago with the laws, the first thing that I had was everyone must worship the sun. This kind of gets into that, where everyone wears yellows and oranges to kind of match the sun. It has crafts, music, just a lot of just different things, all related to the sun. It could be inspired, it could be literally like the same colors, but it's kind of a way to unify everyone because the sun is a major important thing in this kingdom. And for whatever reason, because I just think it will be fun. My second one, though, is the golden bat. Alright, hear me out here. It's basically like the royals release one bat that has been painted gold, and the person who first catches it are taken to a richer neighborhood so that they could live there for the rest of their time. It probably gets into things like, oh, the best bat catcher is the one who goes from the slums all the way to the richest neighborhood just because they happen to catch the bat every single year. But this golden bat is the key to getting upper and upper. If you didn't want to do anything, or anything like technically worthwhile to the kingdom, you can still catch the bat for entertainment purposes for everyone else, because it's kind of like a sport. It's kind of like Quidditch, you know, the Harry Potter one where you're just catching your golden, I don't remember what the word is, but the golden thing, and then you automatically win. Well, it's kind of the same here, where you automatically get to a richer neighborhood after you catch this bat. So the second one I kind of really like. And then number 3, though, my third and final cultural event is the month of the arts. So I guess it could kind of be similar to the first one, which is like, the week of the sun. But the third one is basically about 1 month where you get paid for making art and explaining how you did it and what it all means. Because I kind of understand what commissions are and how sometimes rough it can be for artists out there. So it kind of gives them an opportunity to be like, okay, I made this, and then like the higher ups, it doesn't even matter if they like it or not. They just need to be sure that the person did paint it and the person had an intention other than being paid. If there's anything that like the judges detect, I'm assuming it's gonna be judges, but if there's anything that someone detects that you're like not really into that painting, or that you didn't really make it out of good intentions, then you won't get rewarded. But they'll just celebrate people just making things, and they could possibly sell it to other places, right? Like, it doesn't have to be our kingdom, but it just kind of makes it so everyone who makes things can put their stamp in the kingdom, so to speak.
All right.
So yeah, and
all right. Well,
did you at all think of any like other like events that might happen in yours other than like just the firm handshake whenever you greet?
I guess for every 4th of, obviously there's got to be some kind of musical celebration, like to celebrate their king. I guess it's like on the day of my birthday, it will be like, okay, this is the celebration of their kingdom. Like just and like they like have music and everything, like a kind of like a block party.
A block party. How long do you think that will last?
I mean, like anyone, it's like an open house. Like anyone can go there for however long they want. It'll last the whole day. Like anybody can join.
So literally like 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. again.
I guess you can. I guess like a 24-hour.
Extravaganza.
Like yeah, pretty much. And like they have to talk. They have to talk everything and like they get to talk whatever they want, like say how much they like their kingdom and stuff. They worship it.
All right, I get you.
Yep. And then like they can talk about like what could change and what can't, and what stays the same.
All right. Since you had like the whole 24 hours of like a birthday celebration, is that everyone in the kingdom, or is that just like a certain group?
Well, like I said, anybody can like show up. Like it can be anybody. Everybody can. They're all invited, but they don't have to be forced to be invited. It's like the extravaganza.
Oh, so it's kind of similar to what?
Like again, open house. So like anybody can go. Well, any citizen.
Any citizen can go. Okay, that clears up one question that I had then. But like, so it's kind of like one of the ice cream social things that we had like a long time ago.
School, yeah.
And like not everybody did it, and sometimes we didn't even do it, but like sometimes we did.
Like, I think I've been to every. I think I've gone to every ice cream social.
Yeah, I think I skipped out on a bit of them, but like,
I mean.
But yeah, I wasn't like in trouble for skipping on one or two, or just like ditching it like 5 minutes
obligated
before. Yeah, okay, I understand what your extravaganza will be, but do you know what name it could be called, or just the Dom Day, or like what's it gonna be?
One day, or something. The Dom Day, I guess. Yeah. Dom Day London celebration extravaganza.
Right, in London.
I guess the next topic kind of relates to like my first like cultural like aspect of my kingdom. So now that was like pretty much I pretty much wrapped up my cultural aspects of it.
Oh yeah, I get you.
So yeah, like again, we talked about slurping being a gesture. Speaking of respect, we should talk about like manners and how we greet. Like I already kind of covered that. How they say hello and goodbye. I don't think I get.
Oh yeah, so since you already kind of said it, I mean, maybe listeners might need a little recap. So, would you like to recap what your hellos and goodbyes were?
It's like it doesn't have to just be English. They can just say hello, however language they want.
Oh yeah, okay. So I guess, what was that? I guess we could say hello to the next part of our conversation then.
Yes.
Anyway, my kingdom though, my high is like hee hee. It's like Michael Jackson, like the hee hee.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
I never guess how they wave. They kind of shake their hands, not like that kind of shaking hands, but like they just flap their hands around like this.
I mean, not in my kingdom, maybe yours, but it's literally just you say hee hee for hello, and you gotta say it like Michael Jackson. I would do it right now, but it is hard to do for my voice. But instead of saying bye, you just make a mouth fart, plus wafting like a fake fart. You know how people do the hand. Yeah, that's hello, but my goodbye is just a mouth fart, plus like wafting a fake one.
Yeah, like that.
You could tell I was tired whenever I wrote these ones. Right?
Yeah, like we were up at night thinking of this stuff.
And so you were saying that while doing your handshakes, you could speak whatever language to say hello. So you'd be like hola, you'd be aloha, you could be hello, you could be guten tag, whatever it may be.
It could just be a simple like I like that hello.
If you just
like a grunt, like ah. And then they just flap their hands like spastically.
Who's saying hello to you?
Yep.
Like, whatever the case is. So, there's a little difference between yours and mine, though, where my dialect is kind of different. Where the older people will use longer words, and the younger people will get to the point. And honestly, it's just English, but if you're older, you would tend to say the longer point, where it's like, oh, instead of saying, I got this at the store, you'd be like, so the other day I was walking, and then I decided to go to a store, and then I decided to get this, I saw someone else there. Instead of that, the younger people will get to the point and be like, I went to the store.
Technology, we should have discussed that too. Like the technology, like we have like smartphones, like it doesn't matter to them what they use. My kingdom.
So I wasn't even thinking of that. Like
they could still be using like film projectors for like watch their movies.
So my technology, though, I didn't even think of that. I don't think it exists. I think it's just maybe lights, and that might be it. Like street lights, lamps indoors, whatever the case is. I don't think people have their personal devices, but this kind of assuming that it's set in a day when, you know, that didn't really exist. But then again, I guess our introduction to this whole thing said that, oh, we were just magically given the keys to a kingdom. So if anything, that was an oopsie on my part, not thinking about technology.
Anyways, back to what you were saying. Like the younger people get straight to the point with what they're talking about.
I mean, honestly, that's basically it. So
yeah, let's talk about the dialects part. Like, what do you?
Yeah, we can move on to the next part if you want. Our highs and buys of the kingdom. Like, you did say your hello, though. I don't think I remember hearing a goodbye, though. Like, how do they do that in your London?
They'll just like make a noise like a baby dance noise. That's like, and they just wave the same way.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so I find it interesting that in every country, if not then in most, has different accents and dialect differences. It sometimes even makes it hard to learn their language. There are, I believe, 11 languages spoken in South Africa. Some of the languages are strict with pronunciation. However, there are also some that have a looser rule set to them, making it so that new words are informed by the younger generation members. I mean, after all, language does evolve over time. With that being said, how does your kingdom feel about dialects?
Well, no matter how old you are, like, it really doesn't. Like, I guess it really doesn't matter. It's like, okay, like I'm using the example of like soda. It's like, oh, they like, or like depending on like here in our country, like down south, they call it pop. Here we call it just soda, or people just call any soda Coke.
That gets confusing.
So like, let's call it fizzy.
All right, fizzy.
Or here's something to mention. Like here in Connecticut, we call sandwiches grinders, but other people, they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, what is that?"
One time someone thought I meant the LGBTQ dating app grinder. Anyway, just continue.
Here's also another thing that kind of relates to dialect. Like, people relate to food. Like, my kingdom isn't too crazy about their dialect, but it does matter to an extent. Like, they can just talk about,
So, we could honestly like move on to the next portion, which would actually be talking about our kingdom's cuisine.
All right, so the food that we have here, mainly it's like kind of like mostly American foods, kind of like hamburgers and like fried chicken, like French fries. And then there's like kind of like Mexican cuisine and like Korean cuisine.
So basically just America, but a different place.
Yeah, it's more like, like here we Americanize like certain people's foods. Like
yes.
Chinese food, like we fry, and like some of the noodles here we fry, and then there they steam their noodles.
Oh yeah, I get you.
And like a lot of the foods here we have are like loaded with like fat and loaded fat and salt, like carbs.
Just filler things that wouldn't be in the normal, in the regular thing, in the regular country. We always gotta fatten it up.
Yeah, but then there's also those people that like the healthy stuff. Like we do have healthy food too.
Yeah, it's good luck finding it though. It's in America,
you have to go to your mom and pop supermarket and find your carrot and like broccoli.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
It's pretty much what my food is.
All right. So yours is basically like the American, where it's like, okay, you might have maybe a grill out party like in the backyard, and you're just having like grilled chicken, and you might have like a corn on the cob as a side sort of thing, maybe mashed potatoes, just things like that, right?
Yeah,
that's where yours is getting
like kind of like the it's like, you know, with that Dom Day celebration extravaganza, like they have like food like that.
Oh, and I'd imagine it's gonna be like a lot more than usual because, like, you know, it's a celebration, it's the extravaganza, that one night of the year, that one day of the year rather. Yeah. However, yours is more like America. Mine is like a fantasy world. Let me kind of explain what I mean. My kingdom is known for chocolate. Everything. Like, so some things are delightful, like, oh, a chocolate cake. You would expect it to be chocolate cake, right?
So like, what's your chocolate cake made of?
Yeah, it's just chocolate cake made of chocolate, right? That's normal. However, something you might not expect is, you know, a hot sauce that is made of chocolate.
Oh, well.
It is chocolate, everything. I'm sure that probably exists today, but...
Did you say chocolate?
I said chocolate. No. It is chocolate, everything. So some of the stereotypical things that we might have today are, you know, chocolate cakes, chocolate milks. Those are kind of on the normal side.
So like, what if you had like a chocolate like pizza? Would you have that?
Our kingdom has it.
And there's some of the stuff I do have has a lot of spice in it. Some of the foods that I have.
Oh yeah.
Like those Korean noodles that you see people do those challenges on YouTube. And you see, then they have hot wings, boneless or bone-in.
So yeah, all of the foods that you mentioned, our kingdom has it. However, covered with chocolate or made of chocolate. It's chocolate, everything.
Man, Willy Wonka must be making a fortune right now. But
oh yeah, I'm just... Hey, that's what my palace is made out of. That guy in the forest, that was me. I'm just living in a chocolate palace right now. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, we have to do a nice little recap too about it.
Yeah, actually, I would like to do a nice little recap of both of our kingdoms. That way, it makes it a lot easier to imagine them both. So, would you like to recap your kingdom.
Yeah. So, yep. Welcome to the like the London kingdom. The London kingdom.
The London kingdom.
It's like, yeah, you have, like, you can visit, like, a tour there, but if you want to live there, you have to, like, pass a test. And you have to be a citizen.
All right.
And the rules are very, like, I mean, they're pretty much basic rules. There's nothing, like, too crazy. And, yep, the cult, like, we have a celebration, just like a random celebration of the kingdom, which is conveniently on my birthday. Like, we eat foods that has, like, spice in it, but it's also combined with, like mostly, like, American food and, like, inspired by, like, Asian cuisine.
All right.
I know yours is more like a fantasy, right?
I mean, kind of. It's kind of like geared in real life, I guess. But like, because like I'm not talking about like, oh, every fifth person you meet is like a magician, right? Like,
no,
I'm not saying that, but I'm kind of saying like, oh, something different. Where it's like, oh, we will have like a dungeon, and we will have like color-coded things. It's fantasy in real life, I guess you could say. It's kind of like a universal sort of situation.
I guess so, yeah.
Where it just like feels like a theme park, but it is a kingdom.
We're not the healthiest kingdom here. Like, I guess it's like food dyes like the Halloween Whopper, like from Burger King back when we were freshmen.
I do not remember that. Probably good reason.
I tried it once. It tasted like a regular Whopper. Well, I think there's a good reason why I never came back, and this is a big reason. We're not the healthiest kingdom, but we also do have like a small amount of healthy food.
So my recap though is everyone basically worships the sun. Every house is color coded, and big and hatred are illegal. Every household must have both a dedicated palace worker as well as a military member. You must always have an identification on you, no matter how old you are. There is to be no food waste ever. You have to let one in your home if they do need to go to the bathroom. And the punishments for those are some dungeon time, possibly execution, and possibly forced humiliation in public. The name of it is Bidanye Inite, which I forgot what the meaning of it was, but I guess that's not now. The anthem is a C1 and a C sharp 1, both together, very low notes, just for 2 minutes straight. The flag I can't describe because it's hard to describe. Cultural events. We got the Week of the Sun, where everyone wears yellows and oranges and just does things related to the sun. We got the Golden Bat, where people from lower neighborhoods can catch the bat and move up to a higher one. We have the Month of the Arts, where everyone's basically a commission artist and they get paid for whatever arts that they do as long as it means something to them. And it's not just, oh, for the money. We say hee hee, and we also say
yes,
hee hee for hi, and the fart for bye.
For us, it's like or for hello and goodbye, and then they do this with their hands.
With their hands. The dialect for our kingdom, for this kingdom, is the older people are, the longer sentences they speak. And the younger they are, the shorter, respectively. The cuisine, we kind of just went over it, but mine is chocolate everything.
Yes.
So that's a good recap on my part.
They say hello, and they handshake with like kind of like the slappy fish.
All right. Well, I think we covered pretty much everything we could about our kingdoms. Would you say it's time for us to wrap up?
Yes, I think it is. Well,
I say that we did pretty well, considering this is our first podcast since high school class.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since we did that one.
With that being said, Thank you all for listening to the first episode of
the DomJake Podcast.
Everyone.
To you as well.
See you next time.
Peace out.